Hi friends, welcome to my Not a Sewing vlog. I'm your host, Emily, the sucky seamstress, or hostess. I like hostess. I know that we're supposed to have like non-gendered blah blah blah, but if you haven't been able to tell, I like very like feminine-y things. That's right, I created a word, it's feminine-y. And so I like hostess because it seems very feminine-y. I have been trying to film this video all day, but I live in a townhouse, and it's in a townhouse like little community, and they're doing yard work today. And every time I'm like, oh, they're on the other side of the community. It's quiet over here. I can film. And I start to film, like a leaf blower suddenly goes off, or a hedge trimmer or something really loud. So I'm just gonna film. And if something loud goes off, I'm going to be like, hey, that loud noise you hear, that's what this is. Let's keep going. It might be annoying. And if it is, I super apologize. And if it gets really annoying, I will probably like pause and wait for it to pass. Still have my awful cough. So what are we on? Part 3 of my LA trip. Because there's so much stuff to cover from this trip, I, of course, forgot a couple of things. So one thing I want to say is my mom has been trying to give me this sewing machine that belonged to my grandma, who has been put into a care home and is actually on hospice. She's stable. She's doing well. She's had cancer for several years now, and she chose not to have any treatments like what is the main cancer treatment called? My brain is fizzing out. You know what it is. You know the main cancer treatment. That basically is almost as bad as the cancer. If you can survive the treatment and the cancer, you're like the toughest person ever. She chose not to have the treatment because at her age and with the other ailments of old age that are going on with her, it would probably kill her, and she would have a little longer life just dealing with the cancer. But she's actually going fairly strong, but she is on hospice because she's having some trouble. Like most people who are married for a very long time, I read this article about this. People who are married for 30 years or more, when their spouse dies in their later years, and usually the other spouse tends to decline rapidly because they kind of lived for each other, and their reason for one of their main reasons for living is now gone. And I find that very sweet and actually romantic. That's just me. And so my grandpa died a few years ago, and my grandma has been in major decline ever since. And she's even told my mom and all of her siblings, I'm just waiting around to join grandpa, so anyway, sorry, lots of talking. If you know me, if you follow me, I'm a talker. Anyway, my grandma apparently has this really nice sewing machine that she gave to my mom, and my mom was waiting for a time when I was visiting that I was driving so she could give me the sewing machine. And this last visit, we drove. So my mom gives me the sewing machine, and I'm like, oh my goodness. Okay, I have had like the student singer machine, and I had a Toyota sewing machine. I know, I got it from Costco. I don't know what happened to that. I think I just completely broke it. And then my current machine is a brother, also from Costco. Handsome hubby likes to buy me sewing machines from Costco. And I still have a teacher's version sewing machine somewhere in my sewing room. This sewing machine is like, okay, I'm just gonna, okay. It is like twice as big and super heavy. And I feel like I'm going from like a Geo Metro to like an Audi, or I don't know fancy cars. What's that really, really fancy one right now that all the men are like, whoa. That can like drive itself and stuff. That one. This is a Babylock, and I know that's a really nice brand. It's a Babylock E-Spire. Oh, it has a screen, like a screen. I've never had a sewing machine with a screen, and it comes with this like gigantic table. Like the table on mine is like this big. This is like huge, and apparently it can do lots and lots of cool stuff. Unfortunately, the only paperwork that has come with it is a warranty, which is nice. So I'm going to have to try and get my hands on a user's manual, because I am going to need a user's manual, because this thing is like a very nice sewing machine. I'm both excited and super, super nervous to use it. I will do a video in the future about getting to know and using the sewing machine, because I know that this is like a super nice brand, and this is a major step up sewing machine wise for someone like me. So yeah, new sewing machine, gigantic. Yeah, I believe I left off after the Thursday night welcome party, so now we are on to Friday. Friday at Costume College, went to some wonderful classes, and then Friday night was the Friday night event. The past couple of years, they've kind of changed up the Friday night event, and they've, instead of making it all in one place, they've made it so you get like a passport. There's always a theme. And you get a passport book, and you travel to like 4 different rooms, and each room has a theme within the theme. So the general theme was from page to screen, and then there was like, I think there was like the mystery room, and there was the like romance room, and there was the something and something. And in each room, there are like little activities you could do, and like treats and cute little decorations and photo spots and stuff. It was very, very cute and well done. I didn't have the greatest experience, because I decided I was going to wear my Penelope Featherington from Bridgerton cosplay, and I got my hair all done up, all fancy and beautiful, and got my jewelry on, and my underwear, and my over petticoat, and I went to put the dress on and realized I cannot button up my Regency dress myself. It is like right in that sweet spot, like right, right there, right in the middle of your back, where you're like, ugh. Well, at least for me, I can't do it. Like when my zippers go up to there, I'm like, oh crap, and I need Handsome Hubby. Well, my roommate's gone. I messaged some of my friends and was like, are you at the event already? And they're like, yeah, we're already at the event. And I was like, okay. And I'm one of those people, I don't want to pull my friends away from the event to help me get dressed. I mean, that seemed kind of selfish. So I grabbed a shawl, this kind of lacy shawl I had, and put it around my shoulders. And I peeked out into the hallway and waited until no one was coming. And then I like ran to the elevator and got in the elevator and then went down to the main floor and then got off the elevator and found a wall that kind of faced the main area and stood with my back to the wall because I didn't want anyone to see that like my dress was wide open in the back. And you could see like the back of my corset. And as a plus size girl who's outgrown this corset, I need to make new corsets. I lost my really great corset that fits. I'm hoping I lost it in my house, but I haven't seen it since the Victorian Festival. And I had changed clothes on the ferry ride, so I have this horrible feeling that somehow it like fell out of my hands or fell out of the stuff in the car or something when we were putting stuff in the trunk on the ferry. I don't know, but I have not seen it since then, my good corset. So I had to use one of my older ones that I've grown out of. So there's like this big old gap in the back and it like squishes my fat and no one needs to see that. Sorry. Also, I forgot to take my Dayquil, so I'm all stuffy and gross. So I'm just like hugging this wall, waiting to see someone I know. An hour and a half goes by, and I am like fighting back tears, wondering if I should just try to make it back up to the room. I don't know what to do, and I'm just miserable. And finally, and no one notices me. And finally, this really sweet woman, and I wish I would have like written down her information. I wish I could tell you who she was because she was an angel. She came up and she was like, I love your dress. You look so beautiful, blah, blah, blah. I was like, oh, thank you so much. And thank you, and she kind of looked at me and she said, what's wrong? Something's wrong. What's going on? I said, well, I'm just waiting for some of my friends to walk by. And she's like, why? What do you need? What's going on? Like she got kind of up close and she's like, what's going on? And I just burst into tears. I was like, my dress is unbuttoned in the back and I can't get it buttoned and we're waiting. Everyone's already at the event and I was hoping I would see someone I knew and they could help me. And she was like, oh my gosh. And so she like stood behind me and put her arm around so like no one could see the back of my dress and got me over to this little alcove and got my dress all buttoned up and made sure everything was nice and tight. Because of course I made the buttonholes way too big. So you have to like kind of pull the buttons into the buttonholes to make sure they are in there nice and firm. And I was just so grateful. I don't know why I'm like this. Side note, because this is me, so of course we're going on a tangent here. I am a very extrovert person a lot of the time. I have friends out there who always joke about, oh, what's Emily going to do? Type of thing. I could be very extroverted. I can do really random extroverted things. I was at a midnight showing of The Labyrinth once where a bunch of us were dressed up and stuff. And the movie did that thing where it like kind of jerks and it slows down and then it like bubbled and burnt. We're like, oh my gosh, what's going on? And a worker ran in and was like, we're trying to fix it. We're trying to work on it. And then everyone pulls out there and they like turn the lights on in the theater and they're like, give us a few minutes. And everyone's on their phones and it's kind of quiet. And I'm like, this is boring because I'll tell you one thing that's a secret about me. Well, it's not a huge secret with like people who know me, but I don't really like playing on my phone. I don't like playing games on my phone. I don't like just like surfing the internet or Instagram or YouTube or whatever on my phone. If I'm with people and people are around me and stuff, I'd much rather interact with people. So like I'll be out to dinner with my friends and they all have their phones out and my phone's still in my bag because I'm here to like interact with friends. Unless I'm like have my phone out to like specifically show friends things or stuff. But anyway, so I'm looking at all these people on their phones. I'm like, we're here for Labyrinth. So I get up in my seat and I look around and I find this girl, this amazing girl. I think she was a girl. Okay, I find this person, this amazing person who had this really cool hoggle outfit with like the cap, and they'd done fake words on their nose, and they had made like this belt with random stuff hanging down and this like vest thing and stuff. I was like, hey, hoggle, hey, you hoggle, you know, shouting across this theater, and people are like, what's going on? And she's like, or they are like, I swear it was a girl. I think it was a girl, but I don't know. And they're like, what? And I'm like, you remind me of a babe. And they immediately are like, and they stand up and they're like, what babe? And I'm like, the babe with the power. What power? Power of the voodoo. Hoodoo. Do what? Remind me of the babe. And by that point, like, everyone in the theaters joined me. And then we had a group sing along. I know my baby. Okay, so yeah, we were singing Magic Dance, and we were like full on dancing in our seats and in the aisles, singing Magic Dance in the entire theater. And in the middle of it, the movie popped back up and we all cheered and sat back down. Now, how is that not more fun than a theater of people being quiet, playing on their phones? This is how my brain works. So yes, I'm extroverted, but it's also not so much extroverted as it's like, hey, entire world of friends, let's interact. But I also have this really weird anxiety-induced introverted part of me. And it doesn't make sense to a lot of people. Some of my friends are like, why? I'm sure any friends who watch this are probably like, why didn't you just text your friends? They would have been perfectly happy to run to your rescue. I can't tell you that. I don't know why. My brain said, oh no, don't interrupt them. They already got ready and went to the event. Just go down there, and if you see them passing by, if you see them over there and they wave and come over, then you can ask them for help. But don't like interrupt what they're doing. I have a very people-pleasing like issue. I'm working on it. It's a problem because oftentimes it's to the detriment of myself. And really, if you're a people pleaser, I mean, that's not necessarily a problem unless it's to the detriment of yourself. You shouldn't be doing that. That's no good. So Friday night, by the time I got to explore the event, it was basically over. I didn't get to go into every room because some of the rooms were kind of cleared out. Like some of the stuff was gone, and people were like in groups conversing in the big main area instead of like going into the rooms and stuff. I did turn out to be very useful Friday night though, because part of the passport packet to like go through the rooms and stuff was a scavenger hunt. Scavenger bingo type game thing to find different characters. And one of them was like historical romance. Well, it turns out hardly anyone dressed up as a historical romance character. But Penelope Featherington is super historical romance. Well, it's historical fantasy, but you know, we're blurring lines here. So people are like running around trying to get their stuff filled in. And when they saw me and realized who I was bombarded with people being like, here, sign my thing, sign my thing. So I was very helpful. But, you know, I wish Friday night would have gone a little different. Also, I was supposed to teach a class on Friday. I was supposed to teach an era of chapeaus from 1800 to 1900. But when I got to costume college, I was so stressed out. I'd had some pointy things. Don't travel with millinery wire in your carry-on, or stripped fake flowers where the metal is poking out and sharp, it will be taken away from you. So I'd had a bad TSA experience, and I was extra stressed about my bonnet making class on Sunday. And I felt unprepared for my Friday class. And it was at the end of the day on Friday. It was an hour long. It was a lecture. And I just felt like no one was going to want to go to it anyway, because a lot of people, it's kind of not a great time slot, because a lot of people want to go to dinner and go get ready for the evening's events and stuff, and they don't want to go to a class in that last hour. So when I went to teacher check-in on Thursday, I was like, I had my friend with me, and she was like super supportive and was like, just tell them you can't teach your Friday class. I was like, that is so rude. I'm the worst person in the world, canceling at the last minute. How could I do this to them? They're never going to want me to teach again. This is awful. And I went up to the table and I picked up my packet, and then I was like, I need to ask you something. And then immediately burst into tears, because this is what I do when I'm like faced with conflict, like 90% of the time. So I start crying. I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm crying. This is just, it's a response that happens. Please try to ignore it. I explained, I was the whole stressful situation, everything. I was like, I really would rather not teach my Friday class. And she's like, okay, let me write that down. I was like, oh, are you sure? And she was like, we're used to last minute cancellations. And she said, most people don't give us any explanations at all. They just say, I'm not teaching my class, and that's it. And I'm like, oh, okay. And she's like, you gave me this huge explanation, and you were like super like upset and sad about this. And she's like, that's awesome. Thank you for like, caring. And, we're grateful. And you're still teaching Sunday, right? And I was like, yeah, I'm still teaching Sunday. And she's like, that's great. That's fine. So, kudos to Costume College for being so kind and thoughtful to a brand new teacher who was just overwhelmed at the thought of both a lecture and a workshop for her first time teaching. So Friday, my stress levels were not where they would have been, which is awesome. Saturday, more amazing classes. Awesome classes. I took all sorts of classes. I went to a lecture about cosplay wigs. I went to a lecture about how to resize patterns. I went to an amazing, and I don't remember what days all of these classes were. So I'm just going to rattle off some of the classes I went to. Probably my two most favorite classes that I took at Costume College. The first one was called, it had a really cute name. What was it called? I was going to pick up my phone to look at my notes to see what it was called. You are on my phone. I'm filming with my phone. Pressing Matters. That's what it's called. It's called Pressing Matters. It was taught by this amazing gentleman who does like staged costuming in LA. And it was all about ironing fabrics, which is amazing because I have had plenty of issues in the past, trying to test iron certain fabrics and stuff. And some fabrics, if you're not careful and your iron's too hot, you get that like sheen on the fabric, and you're like, oh no, what have I done? And sometimes you're like, okay, well, this is a polyester fabric, but how polyester is it? Like, it's not, creases aren't coming out of it on the lowest level. And what do I do? And when do you use steam? And when do you not use steam? And then he also taught about like pressing seams and how to do like the different seams certain ways. I took so many notes. I took pictures and I took video because I was like, I need to review all of this. This is like costuming, sewing gold. It was amazing. I didn't know any of this stuff, and I was just in awe. I would take his class again just to refresh myself on all of that information because it was genius. The other class I took was by this amazing woman who is a historical costumer, but also she's like a legit historian, and she's written a book, and I believe she's just coming out with another book that's got on pre-order, and I have pre-ordered. And she did this lecture on the 18th century Polonaise. Now, let's see, where are we on time? Okay, I have time. Now, I don't know if you're into historical costuming or 18th century historical costuming, but up until kind of this point in time, costumes, patterns for the 18th century Polonaise looked basically like many of the other 18th century women's costumes, except that the over skirt portion just bustled up in two sections to make, you know, three kind of ruffle window pane looking sections. And that's what they called the Polonaise. Well, this woman deep dived into 18th century culture and into trade, into everything. And she like went into like the Turk and Ottoman, the Silk Road, all the influences. I mean, did you know, and discovered that the true Polonaise for women is where that overgown, you know, there's the underskirt, and then there's the overgown where the skirt is attached to the bodice. It attaches here, and then it V's down to here, and then, you know, the skirt from there then goes down. And that's the way the Turk or the Ottoman people wore their coats. And so that's that influence. And it's not pulled in tightly here at the waist. So it actually like opens here at the waist. There were all this amazing information and about how basically also as costumers, we've kind of had the Polonaise wrong. So there's going to be a group of us next year doing the proper 18th century Polonaise. And once that group gets up and running, if anyone's interested in joining, I will let you know, and we'll get you all situated. I'm very excited for that. I am going to look up the young lady's name and all her information, and I will post that in the comments. I know I have been having trouble posting people's names and looking it up. Things have been a little busy lately. In fact, I'm like hurry trying to filming right now because I have a girls' night tonight. I know, I'm really excited. I've been trying to do this specific girls' night for months, and it's because I want my friend Rachel, who does this beautiful like glamorous sparkle makeup, like shimmer and sparkle, like eyeshadow and blush and stuff. And she does like this really soft, beautiful day look, and then this like gorgeous evening look. I've been wanting her to teach me how she does her makeup because I never actually learned how to do makeup. My mom was like, when you're 14, you can wear colored chapstick, like lightly colored chapstick. When you're 16, you can wear like nude colored makeup and lightly colored chapstick. I love my mom, but she has worn, like my whole life growing up, she wore the same makeup palette, and it was neutrals, and that was it. And if you haven't been able to tell, I love colorful makeup, and my big thing I love to do is I love to match my makeup with what I'm wearing, which is why my eyeshadow is this beautiful pink fuchsia that matches the pink fuchsia I'm wearing today. which happens to be one of my favorite colors to wear. I love jewel tones, and I also, surprisingly for a somewhat pale redhead, I really love gold tones. Like I have all sorts of like from pale to deep like gold tones. I think it's because my eyes, I don't know if you can see this in here. You may or may not be able to see, but my eyes actually have, they look just brown from a distance, but up close they have a little bit of like auburn in them, and they have a bunch of like yellowish gold in them. I don't know if you can see that because the circle is in there. But anyway, so gold tones don't look that bad on me, even though I'm pale and redhead. So we're doing a girls' night tonight, and I get to do everyone's hair. I love to play with hair. I don't know why. I just do. I love to play with hair, so I get to play with hair tonight. I'm super excited. And if my friends agree, I might take some pictures of hair that I do and post them on my Instagram so you can see hair that I do. I need to stop and start because, as we know, my phone hates anything over 30 minutes. And we're back. Okay. I mean, you know we're back. I don't know. I have the runniest nose. Okay, yes, I just wiped my nose with a shirt, but it's in the dirty clothes pile, which is everywhere right now. Sorry. Oh, I need to wash that. Okay, sorry. So I love to do hair. I'm having a girls' night. Where did I leave off? Saturday. So went to some amazing classes on Saturday. Had so much fun. And then I went back to the room to get ready for the Saturday night gala. Now, in past years, I have gone to the gala in past years and then stopped going to the gala because the gala is super expensive. I believe tickets this year were $110. In past years that I had gone, it included dinner, ambiance. There was some like some entertainment and like some photo ops, and then there's always like a dance party afterwards where there's a DJ and they do kind of random dance music and everyone dances, and the dance party is actually open to anyone, so people who didn't buy a gala ticket can then come and join the gala. And I wasn't going to go to the gala this year, but my friend Melinda, this was her first year at costume college, had bought a gala ticket and was going. Usually I go to dinner with a bunch of friends all dressed up, and then we come and join the gala afterwards for the dance party and to visit with people and take pictures and stuff. So I decided to buy a ticket so my friend Melinda wouldn't have to go by herself. And then when I was trying to decide what to wear for the gala, I had a couple of options. And then I found out that my friend Melinda was going to be taking her giant 18th century court gown cosplay that is based on a Sailor Moon character. And I was like, oh, wow, that's amazing. And she said that she was a little nervous about, getting into it and being able to get around in the gala and whatnot. And I said, well, what if I wore one of my simpler costumes so that I can be comfortable and comfortably help you, kind of be your handler at the gala for any help that you might need. And she said, that would be amazing. Let me help you, or for you to help me. Awesome. So I looked through my costumes and I settled on, it's actually right here because it's been weeks and me being me, I haven't put anything away. I decided to wear my, why is that attached? Don't be attached. Why are you attached? Stop being attached. There we go. I decided to wear my 1880s tea gown. that I made and wore in this year's Victorian Festival fashion show. Couple of reasons I picked this specific outfit. One of them is it's actually rather comfortable to wear. I have like full movement in it, and it's got a very small train in the back that doesn't get in the way. Second of all, I actually feel really pretty and very feminine in it, with all the ruffles and all the lace, and it's pink and has pink stripes, and it's this very soft falling dress. I never thought I would like the natural form era because it's fitted along your body, and I've got this body, but properly corseted and whatnot. I think it looks really pretty on me. I like the way I look in it. Also, I figured, it kind of reminds me of Paris. Let me explain that. The theme for the gala was a night in Paris, or an evening in Paris, something like that, which doesn't seem to fit kind of the overall arcing theme of Costume College, but whatever. Take it as you will. And as I was thinking about wearing this costume, I imagined, it's Paris, 1880s, and I'm, this Victorian lady at home in her boudoir, brushing her hair, wearing my tea gown, and I go out on my balcony that has, beautiful flowers, all along the edge of the balcony. And I stand there looking at the Eiffel Tower in the distance, and I pretend that I am not trying to see if the gentleman, the mysterious gentleman, who the past couple of nights has stepped out of the shadows to stand in a street lamp, in a lit up street lamp, to gaze up at my window, is still there, or is there tonight. Because it just gives me a thrill to see him there. And I wore my prettiest tea gown with all of its ruffles and lace, and anyway, it just felt very romantic to me, which I think a lot of us equate with Paris. Oh, my hair clip fell out of my hair while I'm standing here doing nothing. But I might step on it and break it, so I'm gonna pick it up. That's so weird. Why? I'm just standing here. So weird. I guess I need a bobby pin. Anyway. So I get ready for the gala. I go downstairs. On my way down, I knocked on my friend's door. No answer. I messaged my friend. No answer. I get down to the gala. I find a seat at a table and save a seat next to me. The gala, I know who did the gala this year, who was in charge of it. And so I feel really bad about these comments because I love her. But the gala was, there were cute decorations on the table. And there were some photo spots with Paris in each corner, kind of like a backdrop was set up with like a cute little table and chairs like you're in Paris. The Eiffel Towers in the background of the backdrop. But the room itself, other than that, wasn't decorated. It was kind of in the ballroom or the main big conference room, whatever you want to call it. And all of the lights were on. Like, all the lights were just on, so it's just the main overhead lighting. There was there's like carpeted where all of the tables where we ate were set up, and then a wooden stage area where the dancing would happen. And then a little platform area that had been set up that had the DJ up on it and where the microphone stuff. And some of the organizers came up and spoke about, welcome, thank you for coming to Costume College. We appreciate you. And thank you for coming to the gala. We appreciate you. The bar is over here. And it was a pay bar. And it was tiny, this tiny little pay bar So it had a gigantic line. People had to wait in line forever. And the food was, it was okay. It wasn't like Paris themed food or anything. It was just a nice-ish dinner. I'm not even sure if music was playing while we ate. I don't remember. If it was, it wasn't memorable. There was zero entertainment. And then I heard that at the end, it was just the DJ playing random music like they do. It's not worth $110. I don't know why. I don't know. So I'm sitting there and food is being served. I cannot get a hold of my friend. I kept messaging her, where are you? What's going on? And then I see, so she hasn't answered any of my messages. And then I see that she's posted in the Costume College, like, main page, is anyone around who can help me? I'm having trouble getting dressed. So I'm like, oh no. So I run up to her room and I'm knocking on her room. No answer. And I'm like, what is going on? So I start to search the hotel, every public bathroom in the hotel. Maybe she's in a public bathroom. And that's 3 floors of public bathrooms because the conference actually goes through 3 floors. And then I start searching like the side hallways and classrooms and, where could she be? I mean, this is like almost an hour of hunting, running around the hotel. My hair is falling out of its cute hair, 1880s hairstyle I'd done. I'm sweating to death. I've sweat off all my makeup. I'm just miserable. I get back to the gala and go over to my seat and I'm just like, I don't know what to do. And I look over and she's sitting at the table next to mine, all dressed up, happy as a clam. At one point she waves like, hi. And I'm just like, what? So at this point, I'm done. I'm exhausted. I'm emotionally drained. I'm physically drained. I'm done. So I hurry and eat my food. Dessert comes. I hurry and eat my dessert and I leave. Because I'm just like, I'm just tired. As I was leaving though, I did do the smartest thing. I caught a glimpse of my beautiful friend Yosa, who had recreated a Worth gown. Now, if you don't know what I'm talking about, historical costumers tend to have this dream of recreating at least one Worth gown in their lifetime. Charles Worth was the top of dressmaking during the Victorian era, and his namesakes, his sons who took over it, carried it into the early Edwardian era. And Worth gowns were worn by queens and princesses and the upper class and the upper echelons of society in so many countries. And we actually have many extant Worth dresses because they were so valued and so prized by these families that they were very carefully put away. Where other dresses would be reconstructed to the latest fashions and whatnot, Worth dresses were very carefully packed away for posterity to love and to own. I don't know why my hair won't stand. Annoying hair being annoying today. So she recreated this beautiful white and black Worth gown with lace and satin and these black velvet cutouts and like, oh, it was just stunning. And she was in the portrait studio. Now, if you haven't been to Costume College, when you check in on Thursday night and you get your packet and you get your little name badge and everything, you can get ribbons. Ribbons tend to be a big thing at Costume College. There are a few that you will get in your packet, and then you can get more at the check-in. People bring ribbons to give out. Teachers usually have ribbons. Some people are like crazy ribbon collectors. So by the end of Costume College, they'll have this draping tail of ribbons. I did that my first year. And then I had to like drag this tail of ribbons, and it was like on my costume in every picture. And I decided I wasn't going to be crazy about it that much in the future. I actually have mine from this year. Anyway, so this is my tag from this year. It says I'm a student, but then I also got a faculty ribbon in my packet because I was teaching this year. I have a Costumers Guild West ink ribbon because they are the ones who do Costume College. And then I paid for a portrait studio ribbon. I think it's $3, I believe. And what it is they have a professional photographer who set up a beautiful backdrop with like lights and everything in a room. And it's open every day during certain hours, but good hours every day. And you can just walk in there and wait in line and get some beautiful pictures taken of the costumes that you're wearing that day. And then at the end of Costume College, usually a week to 2 weeks afterwards, he posts those pictures and they're yours to download and do with as you will. Every year I buy the portrait studio ribbon so that I can go in there and do that. And every year I forget to do it. But this year, as I'm leaving the gala and I see my beautiful friend Yosa in there getting pictures, I decide to go in and say hello. And when she was done, he asked me, "Oh, did you want pictures?" And I thought, I should. I've got my beautiful tea gown on. I'm going to get pictures. So I did get pictures in my tea gown. The only pictures from the gala I have are in the portrait studio. And they're lovely, and I will share them on Instagram tonight. At least one of them on Instagram tonight. So I was really grateful that I thought to pause and do that. Just in case you're interested, some of my other ribbons, the one I was giving out this year says, "Don't edit. It leaves time for more mistakes." I spun the wheel of random knowledge. That's another one at the information desk. I have the historical ribbon because I'm a historical costumer. The I follow at Costume College and hashtag Costume College. This one someone gave me says, "Thanks. It has pockets." This one says, "Welcome to the Enchanted Garden." Sometimes some of the events will have ribbons. This one says, "My creations contain blood and bad words." No idea who gave that to me. It's amazing. Firetaildesign.com gave me inspired, inquired, perspired, and attired. This one says historically adequate, which I love because it's like, it's historically adequate. Not perfect, adequate. This one says sewing. It ain't for sissies. And this one says life is short. I'm not for tall people. I have a couple of other ribbons that people gave me and I shoved in my bag because I was like between classes or going somewhere or on my way to my room, and I didn't get a chance to put it on my badge. So I have some loose ribbons floating around too. I actually see one right here. What is this one? Oh, Votes for Women. I have a Votes for Women ribbon too. So portrait studio. So then I headed up to my room and I was just ready to just be done. I get into my room and my roommate is there with one of her friends. They'd gone out to dinner. They'd kind of gone down to the dance party and been like, this isn't really for us, and came back to the room to eat their leftovers and a bunch of snacks and watch this British movie that they were like making fun of, and it was hilarious. So I sat on my bed and got out my snacks and I changed into my pajamas and watched Midsummer Murders with them, which honestly, when you watch with people who like find it funny, like, but it's not meant to be funny, it was hilarious. It was so funny. Anyway, I had a fun night. I ended up having a quiet, fun night just with my roommate and her friend in our room. I didn't get the gala I was hoping for, but I still had a good night. Sunday morning at 9 a.m. I taught my first class at Costume College. My class was called, okay, I don't remember the full name of my class, but basically it was a beginner's Regency placemat bonnet making class. And I was super nervous. I got down to my classroom early, walked into my classroom, and there was seating and tables for 16 students. And I had 25 students enrolled. So as people filtered in, I started to panic. A lovely young lady who joined my class offered to go downstairs to the Costume College information desk and tell someone, and then someone came up to check on the situation, and then they had maintenance come and bring more tables. So my class started a little late, but we did get more tables and chairs, and it ended up okay. I'm so gross. I just wiped my nose in front of you. Sorry, gross. I'm gonna wash that shirt, I promise. I need Dayquil. Anyway, I also, handsome hubby provided me with so many snacks. He bought me 3-4 boxes of these fruit bars that he really likes. I'm okay on them, but he really likes them. And he got them in blueberry and strawberry and raspberry and I think apple. So I had 4 boxes of all these fruit bars, and I barely eaten any of them. And so I was like, it's the first class of the morning. It's the 9 a.m. class. I wonder if some of these people haven't eaten. So I brought them to class and I set them out on the main table. I was like, hey, if you haven't eaten, haven't had breakfast, And people were like, you brought food? You brought snacks? No one ever brings food or snacks. And I was like, I know. And it was cute because at the end of class, this girl comes up and she's like, I have to catch a flight actually in a few hours. Do you mind if I take a couple of these for my bag? And I was like, no, take some of every flavor. Go for it. So I finally started my class and I kind of explained the premise and where this came from, how me and a bunch of my friends 10 plus years ago were sitting around watching the Masterpiece Theater, Colin Firth, Pride and Prejudice, trying to help my friend get over her divorce. And we were getting really silly. And she had her table all set up with, she had a really fancy dining table, and she had it set up where there was a place setting everyone that sits out, and it's her fine china and stuff. But she had these circular placemats that were straw type, but really thin. And I grabbed one of them and I put it on my head and I was like, oh, Mr. Darcy, it was my bonnet. So then everyone grabbed one and we're running around, and we ran into her sewing room and grabbed ribbon and we tied them to our heads and we were like, oh, Mr. Darcy. And then I was like, if we cut a circle out of these and blah, blah, blah. And next thing I know, we're all sitting there watching Pride and Prejudice, sewing bonnets out of her placemats. And for the next 10 plus years, that's how we made super easy bonnets on to go. It's a one-day bonnet make. It's just a few hours. We helped beginner costumers were like, you want a really easy simple bonnet for that event, here you go, this is what you do. And so so I had everyone come out. I had bought mats in 3 different kind of natural colors, and a natural kind of straw, a darker, and then a lighter. And then I had cut fabric squares out of 5 different colors of fabric. I did make some mistakes. I had needles for everyone and scissors. I had a pair of scissors for everyone. I know. I had my friend who drove to Costume College bring them because there was no way I was going to try and take those on the plane. But, yeah, you don't have to buy scissors for everyone. Just tell them to bring scissors with them. But then I had 2 spools of giant spools of thread that the whole classroom had to share. It was nuts. And then bunches of ribbon that they chose. And so I discovered I have an issue when teaching. So when you're teaching a workshop, there's a lot of this. Quiet. people are doing stuff in quiet. And my brain says, oh no, they're being quiet. That means they're not having fun. So I talked all the way through my class. I had people tell their romantic proposal stories, and then I threw hostess cakes at them. I told the entire courtship story of me and handsome hubby. I also answered questions and moved them on to the next processes in the workshop as I did all of this. But like, I just kept talking the whole time. There were definite mistakes made and improvements made. I don't know if I told you this, but I sold this workshop. I did the workshop for $15 a person. And then I went over that budget when I bought all of my supplies. So I need to do much better at that if I ever teach this workshop again. But I think it went okay. And at the end, I had a lot of people tell me they were really happy with the workshop and they really enjoyed it. So that meant a lot to me. And I actually have some pictures of someone who posted her finished bonnet that she upgraded, I don't know what to call it, but she did extra fancy stuff to it to make it look even better, which I encouraged them to do and even gave them ideas to do. And it looks amazing. And I asked her if I could use her pictures as examples if I teach this workshop again. And she said yes. So I'm excited. But it was okay. It was good. It was good. I was glad I did it. And one of my friend followers, oh, I forgot to say. So I met this amazing friend follower at Costume College who wore these gorgeous 1940s extant dresses. And she's amazing. And I believe she was from New York, I think. And she's commented on one of my recent videos. And I loved meeting you. And I love you. And you're amazing and awesome. And she was in my bonnet making class. And it was so great to see you. And if you finish your bonnet, I would love to see pictures. So please send them to me. And if you don't, I totally understand. No pressure. Do not worry about finishing that train wreck. Because I know that it was hard. I mean, not hard, but it could have been better. And then I went and put all my stuff in the room, took some deep breaths, was going to go to a class, and instead went to breakfast at the hotel and met up with some new friends, which was awesome because I made some amazing new friends, which was awesome. I also had a waiter husband the whole weekend. I met him Thursday night, and every time I went to the hotel, me and a couple of friends ate at the hotel restaurant Thursday night, and he waited on us. He learned all of our names, knew all of our names the rest of the weekend. He figured out that I drink water like a fish when I'm at the restaurant. My water glass is constantly empty. And the second it was empty, he was there, just filling my water glass. It was amazing. And he was just he was my CoCo husband at the restaurant. I mean, he just was, the second he saw me, he was like, Emily, this is my area over here, and I encouraged my friends to be big tippers, and I told everyone, hey, if you don't remember who your waiter or waitress was, just say so-and-so helped you because he was amazing and he deserves all the kudos because he was awesome. Man, I wish he could just follow me around and be my waiter everywhere because he was really awesome. So that was Sunday. I did not go to the tea on Sunday. Kind of like the gala, I feel like the tea has been just, the price has been going up and up until I've just kind of priced out of the tea. I believe the tea was $85 or $90 this year. And I mean, it's cute. They do a little themed tea, and usually there's some decorations and a little thing, but it's so expensive, especially when you're already spending so much money at Costume College on other things. There's shopping too. Did I tell you about the shopping? They have a marketplace at Costume College where different vendors can set up booths to sell things. Now, in the past years, I've always saved up a bunch of money to buy hats from Atelier Milla because she is amazing and makes the most beautiful historical hats. Well, Atelier Milla broke my heart and moved from California to Oregon, which is technically closer to me physically, but not closer to where I shop for Atelier Milla hats once a year at Costume College. Because she moved to Oregon and doesn't want to haul all of her stuff down there, she no longer sets up at Costume College. So I knew I wasn't going to be spending the several hundreds of dollars on Atelier Milla hats at Costume College. And I walked around Costume College in the marketplace, and I did buy a few things. But I decided I was not going to be spending a bunch of money there because, first of all, poor. Have I mentioned poor? Have I mentioned super poor? The fact that handsome hubby, like this trip and he's an angel and a saint, and there was a credit card involved. Anyway, so the only things I bought, I mean, this can really shock and surprise you, at the marketplace was I bought this beautiful feather. I don't know if you're going to be able to see that, but it's this beautiful curved, very fluffy plume for putting on like a hat. I bought this really, really pretty cockade that has this flower in it, and these are vintage. So it's this beautiful vintage cockade in this like pink and gold kind of maroon and fuchsia and pale pink, like variety of colors. And then in a kind of cheap section, I bought this used cockade that has this like light pink here. It's getting washed out by the, let's see if I can you see, if I turn it like this, you can kind of see the light pink here and here where it's not being washed out. And then this beautiful kind of antique gold with pinking on the edges. And this is kind of a bit battered up and in need of some love cockade, where I need to put something in the center, maybe a beautiful vintage, big vintage button, or like a rose flower or something. And this could be used on a hat, it could be used as a brooch, it could be used on a belt. It's got a lot of uses. So that's the only things I bought. I did mean to go back to the marketplace after my initial going around, but I didn't end up going. There's also the bargain basement, which is where throughout the week you can donate anything to it. Anything that is sewing, costuming related, you can donate to the bargain basement. A lot of people donate fabric. They clean out, they take the opportunity to clean out their fabric stash and they donate it to the bargain basement. And then it is sold on Sunday in Sunday morning you go, you get a number, and then you get to go in as groups to shop, or it would just be a frenzy for all. And they give you just like bargain basement prices for those items, and the money goes to Costume College scholarships for people who are unable to afford to go to Costume College. And those scholarships are, oh dear, I need to record again. Sorry. And those scholarships are for people who are low income or have hardships or just for whatever reason are not able to afford to go to Costume College but really, really, really want to. And so it's for a good cause. And they get amazing donations, patterns and fabric and costumes and hats. I actually, this hat that's sitting over here that I almost took to Costume College and didn't, this beautiful hat that I absolutely love, I bought this at the bargain basement. I believe they sold it to me for $3, I think, maybe $5. Yeah. Yeah, love it. I love it. So you get all sorts of amazing stuff. Of course, the earlier group that you're able to get in, the better stuff you're going to get. But the earlier in the morning, you have to line up. Apparently, people are lined up as early as like 5 a.m. So, and I'm just not willing to do that. And I did not do the bargain basement this year. I thought about it. I knew I was going to the LA Fabric District on Monday, and I decided not to do the bargain basement. I don't know. I just decided not to. I don't actually remember what I did Sunday night. I know I had some plans, but I think they fell through. I think I just ended up chilling Sunday night because the next day was going to be the trip to the LA Fabric District, which was both amazing, and I also had yet another kind of hard experience. So if you haven't figured it out by now, the LA trip, LA/Costume College trip, had its ups and its downs, but that's okay. I'm gonna leave today's video here, and tomorrow's video will pick up at the LA Fabric District on Monday. I hope you're okay with these part 1, part 2, part 3 videos, and we're almost caught up, folks. And then after I get all caught up, we will be talking about future costuming. Ooh, for me and you, because you're supposed to be sharing that with me, remember? Because we're friends. Remember? Bye.